Hey, welcome to Fairy Dust TV. I'm your host, Jen Burton, romantic fairy godmama for smart, successful single women around the world. And I'm very excited to be with you today with a pretty, I guess cool would be a word, would be the word, topic for you. The topic today is I want a baby, but I am still single. This is a topic that I relate to, not necessarily on a personal level, but because I have an equal amount of women who come to me. I have women who come to me who want children and women who come to me who don't want children. Also, on a personal note, I just recently decided definitively that I do not want more children. It took me 8 years to finally definitively decide that. And so I'm going to share with you a little, some really important information about this as a single woman so that you can make the best decision for you. And then I'm also going to share things that I think are very important in relation to your love life and wanting to be a mother and how those correspond together. So again, I have equal parts of women who come to me, some women who already know they never want children. Then I have women who come to me who know definitively that they want children, but they're in their late 30s, early 40s, and they're starting to wonder if this is ever going to happen for them. And I do have some women who come to me who are still undecided, and they feel like I did. I was up against that, biological factor as well of needing to decide. So again, recently I did decide after much consideration that I do not want to have any more children, and that I'm very happy with the way my life is right now and very happy to have the child that I have in my life. With that said, choosing to have a child is a very, very important process, one that all women should consider. I believe should consider, because it is so important. Now, if you already definitively know, then this video is not really for you. But I'm talking to my women who either know or are still considering this as a possibility. Okay, so I want to share a story. And I'm sharing this story in hopes that you will see, and this is a story that I share with my private clients who are pushing up against that biological clock and wanting to find a man so that they can start a family with. And I want to share this story because this is really, really important, because I don't want you to rush that process of finding the right man for you. I want you to be a woman who is loved, adored, and cherished on your terms. And I don't want you to ever settle for a man just because your biological clock is ticking really loudly. So that's why I'm going to share this specific story. Now, I had, there's actually two pieces of the story. I'm going to start with having my child. So I had the beginning of my pregnancy was a difficult pregnancy. I found myself flat on my face for the first 5 months of the pregnancy, and I could have swore to you I'd never, ever, ever want to be pregnant again. Now, with that said, the rest of my pregnancy was really beautiful. My birth was amazing. I had a completely natural birth, and it was awesome. And then my child came out, and my child looks nothing like me. She looks exactly like my husband, which is wonderful. But I also suffered from postpartum depression, so I disconnected from her. Now, I didn't have the postpartum depression where I wanted to kill my child. No, I didn't. But I did disconnect from her for a little while. I didn't feel that. I mean, I liked her, but I didn't feel that immediate love connection. And of course, I didn't see myself in her at all. But, and here's the big but, as I took care of her, I grew to love her. As I took care of her, I nurtured her, I sought out the best for her, I fell head over heels in love with her, which has led me to the, again, I'm going to use the word definitive conclusion that love with a child is not about having to grow that child inside of you. Which, why I'm sharing this with you ladies, is that I want you to know that you can have that same connection that a biological mother has with her child without having to go through the process. You can absolutely have that same connection. And that's what this world is really all about, is that human connection. That's what we're seeking, that human love connection, which is why I want to talk about this topic so much with you, because there are two pieces of it. There's that child connection. And I think any woman who wants to have a child should have a child. Now, I'm not telling you that if you're pushing up against that biological clock that you should absolutely 100% wait and see if it happens with a man and bypass that biological opportunity to have your own child. I just want you to be able to approach dating without feeling pressured and having to slide into the, oh, I have to find somebody right now, because there are so many different options. Now, ultimately, and why I share this story, ultimately, a lot of women would prefer to, be married, to have their children, to all that. But sometimes there's a bigger plan that's going on. Sometimes things are happening and giving you what you want, but it doesn't necessarily look like you want. So I want you to always back to the fact that what we really seek in life is that human love connection. And that can happen in many different ways. So I want you to know that 100%, if you want a baby, if you want a child, you should have a child. But I want you to open up the options and how that happens for you. And I don't want you to push, on the same note, I don't want you to push your romantic life to the side just to be in pursuit of a child. Now, let me tell you the second story that I was talking about a minute ago so that you can understand why. Okay, little side note, when I first met my husband, I didn't know that I wanted children at the time. I had just turned 30 at the time, and I was pretty undecided. Like, I was undecided about the second child for a very long time. And with that said, I was very focused on being in the moment, because I was coming out of a not so great marriage, and I was focused on being in the moment of dating and enjoying my love life, my romantic life, my dating experiences for the very first time. I wasn't interested in mentally getting myself down the aisle anymore. I wanted to see how everything would unfold and give my higher power 100% control over what happened, on how it happened. I knew what I wanted to have happen, but I was really about staying in the moment and allowing my love life to unfold and develop those connections and focus on those connections and not worry about the outcomes so much. And I can't even begin to tell you how beautifully that happened. And that's where my method of mantourage dating came into being. Now, with that said, I was giving you a story around that. It happened so much faster than I expected. I met my husband in November of 2006. By May of 2007, he was asking me to move in with him, to marry him, and to have his child, without me bringing up wanting to have a child whatsoever. So the point of me telling you this story is, when you stay in that romantic moment and allow your romantic life to unfold, the things that you maybe don't even know you want, or the things that you want, can happen so much faster because you're not pushing your method on how things happen. So I want to talk about 3 things that I want you, when you're considering whether or not to have a baby while you're still single, I want you to consider 3 things about your love life at the same time. And the first one is, is I want you to trust that your higher power has your back. Now, I don't care what you call your higher power, and if you're a woman who is an atheist or agnostic, you can just believe in the power of something, just something bigger than you, whatever it is. Just know that the energy in life really wants what you want for you. But their methods might be very different than how you anticipate everything unfolding. And I want you to learn how to trust that. So I'm going to say trust your higher power. You can call your higher power God, you can goddess, whatever that is for you, that doesn't matter. I want you to not put added pressure on yourself to get things right romantically because you feel like you will miss out. So like I did, enjoy the moment. Things are going to unfold a lot faster than you anticipated because you are in the mode of appreciation and enjoyment of what life is already giving you. And now I'm not saying don't want what you want. Of course I want you to want what you want, okay? I just want you to be open to the possibilities of how that will unfold for you. The second piece is I don't want you to cut off your romantic options, but because you decide to have a child on your own. Now, again, I 100% support you. If you decide that, yes, you physically want to go through the process of pregnancy and having your own genetic child, I want you to 100% do that. But do not, by any means, cut off your romantic options while doing that, okay? In fact, I want you to, if you do decide to do that, to go check out my Fairy Dust TV video on single mamas dating, because there is no reason having a child as a single mother and being in a great romantic relationship are not mutually exclusive. They can go very well together. Even if you're pregnant, you can still date while you're pregnant if you want to. Now, I do want you to watch that video, and you can you'll have to have good boundaries, and you'll have to have a good, what's the phrase I'm looking for? You'll have to have a good mental approach to the whole process and to have everything in place. But by no means do you have to choose to have a child or choose to have a great romantic relationship. You can have both. There will be great men out there who have no problem with the fact that you might be pregnant or that you might have a small child. So be sure to go check out that video, single mom dating. And the second piece of that is go to my site, irresistibility.com, and you can get the first 2 chapters for free. One of the best ways to date and to see that all of this is true is with online dating. So it's e-rresistibility.com. Go get the first 2 chapters for free and keep your romantic options open, because like I said, you have no idea what could actually happen. I went from, it was the end of November, so it was December, January, February, March, April, May, 6 months to a man who I've been with now for 9 years, asking me if I wanted to marry him and have his child. It can happen so very quickly, but you have to be willing to be in the moment, take some pressure off yourself, enjoy that moment, and open up your options to men. Now, the third thing, I'm looking at my notes just for you so I don't forget it. Okay, and this is, like I said, this is actually going back to that last point I made and elaborating just a little bit more, is when you do these first 2 things, you trust that your higher power has your back and wants what you want. May not look exactly like you want. Okay, you may end up adopting a child. You may end up with a man who has children. You very well may have a child on your own. Just trust and understand that what you want will seemingly come out of nowhere. When you are focused on enjoying your love life, not making having a child and your love life mutually exclusive, understanding that men are going to love you regardless if you have children or not. It doesn't mean because you want to have children, all of a sudden men aren't going to want to be around you. There are tons of amazing men who want the very same thing that you do, that you will be wildly attracted to, and who will love, adore, and cherish you on your terms. So bringing it all back home, if you want a baby but you are still single, that's fine. Allow things to unfold for you. If you do decide to have a child on your own, nothing wrong with that. Do not make your love life you don't have to put that on the back burner. You can keep it going as you explore your options in having children, and at the same time still create the love life that you want. And when you're having that kind of fun, trust me, lover girl, you're going to be even more mesmerizing to the right man, because there's nothing sexier than a woman who owns who she is and enjoys everything that is coming to her and the way that it's unfolding. Thank you, lover girl, for hanging out with me today on Fairy Dust TV. I will see you next week